Hopefully. The epic final. Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz. We saw it in Wimbledon, and we're going to get it at the US Open. He's going to be able to handle a situation in a Grand Slam final against Djokovic because he's beaten him in one. I'm going for Carlos Alcaraz.
The main man, the number 24, Novak Djokovic. US Open time, baby! Let's go! Gauff could be our US Open champion.
3-set final in which Iga wins. Near on near impossible that Djokovic doesn't make the final.
Novak Djokovic claiming his 24th Grand Slam title on the women's side. Then Ostapenko.
No surprise here. I think that Novak Djokovic will win this year's US Open, and Coco Gauff is going to be the American that wins it on the women's side.
That Novak Djokovic will win this Grand Slam, beating Alcaraz in the final. I believe that Sabalenka is going to ace up this Grand Slam.
Sabalenka and Djokovic take it.
Novak Djokovic will have as many Grand Slams as there are hours in the day. Ons Jabeur is going to do it. I really believe. I think Ons has learned from her mistakes.
Novak Djokovic is going to win the US Open.
Aryna Sabalenka is winning her second Grand Slam. Carlos Alcaraz is going back-to-back. He's going to defend his US Open title.
Coco Gauff on home soil is taking home the cake. Gauff will win.
Here we go. It is the Game to Love podcast back again as day 5 gets completed. And what a day 5 it was. Novak Djokovic going to 5 on day 5. Maybe there was a clue in the title. The comeback king, as he's known. He went down 2 sets to love to Laslo Djere and comes back to win in 5. The tournament really started, I feel, for Djokovic in this match. And now we get to find out how is he going to fare against his next opponent, which some might say is maybe a little bit easier. Would you say that, JG?
Well, you don't want to skim past Borna Gojo too much because he's not dropped a set. He's looking extremely good. And I agree with you, though. I feel surely it will be a more straightforward match than the Laslo Djere one, purely because Borna Gojo's not had to play that great of opponents to get to where he is. But nevertheless, he's there. He's looking good. He's playing some of the best tennis of his career. Let's see how Djokovic fares. But talking about day 5, am I surprised that Laslo Djere took a few sets? Not really. I think Laslo Djere has been playing extremely well. He's already beaten Djokovic in the last match he played prior to yesterday. Did I think Djokovic was ever going to lose? No. It didn't feel like it was one of them matches where 2 sets down, he was down and out and there was no way back. It had a same feeling to me as the Yannick Sinner one, as the Stefanos Tsitsipas at Roland Garros in the final. We've seen it now. We've seen this same thing time and time again. And at not for one moment did I think Djokovic was going out, even 2 sets down.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I sort of I kept an eye on it. It was a ghastly time in the UK for us. It kicked off at 2:30 a.m. and finished at about 6:30 a.m. in the morning. I did fall asleep. I woke up to find him a set down, and then I sort of kept an eye on it, and then as soon as he went 4-love up in that 3rd set, I knew Djokovic was going through. And that's Novak. That's credit to him. We know what he's like. He's a beast over a 5-set match, and he knows Laslo Djere's game sort of inside out, I would say. He's a fellow Serb. He has a close match with him, it seems, every time. The last one was 4 hours, you covered, and this one was 4 hours again, but over 5 sets. But some of the sets he whizzed through the 3rd and the 4th, didn't he? 6-1, 6-1, and then you knew he was taking the 5th set, didn't we? I mean,
yeah, in between that really long 4-hour one or 3 hours, whatever it was, Djere beat him, right? Djokovic.
I don't believe so. I think that this is their only 2 matches.
Is it not? Did Djere not beat Djokovic at one point?
No, I don't think so. I think that's just their only 2.
Who was the Serbian player who beat Djokovic?
Lajovic, I think you're thinking of.
Lajovic. Okay, apologies. Wasn't Laslo Djere.
Yeah, no problem.
Djere's a good player. On the women's, there's some big stories as well to talk about. Sorana Cirstea, my player to watch, is getting me some points because she's just knocked out Rybakina. Maybe we should have done the point system based off who they beat, and you get extra if it's a top player.
I see you trying to change it around now. It's running. Now all of your men are out. You're trying to rely on your women to get you through. But yeah,
and Coco Gauff in the intro, we can still use the intro because she managed to get through in 3 sets and got better as it went on with a bagel in the third.
Yeah.
But let's start with this first one. And this is the last 3 events where Djokovic won a match from 2-love down. He went on to win the major. Wimbledon was against Sinner, Roland Garros, Musetti, Tsitsipas. He had 2 there. Wimbledon against Anderson. Will it be 4 in a row in just 9 days' time?
Wow. Gil Gross makes a very valid point as well. Like you were saying, the funny thing is when you watch all of these, you know that he wasn't really close to losing any of those matches at all. I feel like the one that he was closest, maybe I'd go with Tsitsipas, I think. And that was just because they had that really long game in the third, and that was just the turning point. But up until then, Tsitsipas looked fantastic.
Agreed, yeah.
But that was all the others. It just seems to the start of the set. Djokovic went off for a toilet break at the end of the second set, like he normally does, comes back, refreshed, completely playing his best tennis again. And you see how the other player just the level just goes down and Djokovic goes up as you go from 3 to 5 sets. It's a credit to him that he can even play that level of tennis come 4 hours, but we come to expect it from him these days.
I know the cliche is usually after when you have a toilet break, you go to the mirror and have a talking to yourself. Djokovic said he actually did do that, and he tried to psych himself up and get his head in the game, and it certainly did work because he come back after that second set to start the third and looked like he was going to bagel him, to be honest. It wasn't a bagel, but it was as good as. And then from that moment on, there was only one player on the court, and Djokovic now, with his history of coming back from 2 sets to love, has a good chance of winning the US Open because he always does. If he wins a 2-set to love match from, like as Ollie's saying here, from 2 sets down, he always goes on to win the event. So Alcaraz probably looking at that thinking he's in trouble.
Well, yeah, you'd have to think that Djokovic. He comes up against good players, though, who play some of their best tennis. This is the best tennis I think I've seen Laslo Djere play in a Grand Slam, I think. And in that second set, that's normally where I'd expect Djokovic just to take over and then win it in 4. But Djere served at 90% first serve points, 87% first serve percentage, and he was hitting winners that Djokovic couldn't get anywhere close to. So credit to him. He had a fantastic tournament. I think he goes away, his stock rose. Because remember, he only snuck in as the last seed because I think Struff went out. So I think a very worthy seed in this tournament, Laslo Djere. And
I mean, when you've got Attila Balaz playing and he's looking terrible, it would have been a real travesty if Laslo Djere wasn't included.
Most definitely. Right, let's move on because I know that, well, it's not just a story of Novak Djokovic. So let's get through some of these stats. And 100 being the number for Novak Djokovic. The win over Laslo was the 105th setter at a slam in 2023. It is his 6th time since 2000. There have been 100 or more slams, 100 or more at a Grand Slam event. Sorry, I sort of butchered the way I read that.
Yeah.
A marathon. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of 5-setters.
Yeah, it's happening more than ever before. And I'm interested to see what your theory is behind it. The 5-set format's been around for some time, but it feels like we're getting a lot recently. I'm not sure what that is. I guess maybe players are closer in ability. I think if you look at the top 100 now, I would say there's not that much different between sort of 20 and 100 in the world. I think there's the distance is quite close on the men's, of course, because they're the ones who play best of 5. I think maybe in the past, I don't remember. I know you probably have better memory because you're about 4 times as old as me. But back in them days, in the black and white TVs, was it a case of players were at the top sort of 10 were just so much better than everyone else, or even 50 was sort of better, a lot better than 100.
I think you used to get more of them when you got to the finals and stuff like that. And when you got the really good players against each other, that's when they brought out the 5-setters in each other, and you didn't get so many earlier on in the tournaments. I think you get a lot more earlier on in the tournaments these days, and that's probably why this statistic is so high. But I think it's good for the tournament, though, because there's always so much to talk about when you go around like these slams at the moment. I always love to see how many 5-setters there have been. And obviously we had, who was it in the last tournament, went back to back to back with 5-setters, like 15 sets in 3 rounds. I mean, just crazy level of time on court, and to be able to maintain that throughout a whole slam is nearly impossible if you do 5 sets every round. That's surely never been done.
For you, who is the king of the 5 sets?
Oh, Djokovic for sure.
For me, it's not Djokovic, it's Kai Nishikori.
Okay.
My memories of 5 sets is Kai Nishikori. I love him over that distance, and he will be my king for the 5-setters.
Got to throw Andy Murray in there just for one. I know that he's a good one too. We can't not let Sir Andy be in there. He's definitely worthy. And Rafa as well. I'm surprised he didn't pop him in there. He's good on a 5-set match. So these big boys know how to play. Kai Nishikori. Okay, brilliant. This one, just one more for Djokovic. Obviously speaking about comebacks from 2 sets down. And the stat they were popping up last night was obviously the last time at the US Open that he came back from 2 sets down. That was against Roger Federer in 2011 in the semi-final. Yeah. So you see some of the other ones there. We've named the last 4, and then you've got Garcia, Lopez, and Seppi in there as well. So let's move on.
The biggest one, though, will always be the 2011 Federer one.
Yeah.
I don't think that will be beaten. I'm not sure we'll ever see Djokovic 2 sets down in a Grand Slam final and then win. I don't know what it is about that. I just don't think he'll do it. Obviously, there is someone who has done it, Rafael Nadal, and maybe that's why I don't think Djokovic is going to do it.
Well, he's already done it once, so how many times does he need to do it?
No, I don't think he's going to do it again.
Okay, well, maybe not. Let's move on. I know that we're always talking about the old guard in this one, and Djokovic is a bit of the old guard, but he considered himself the current gen as well. But somebody else who the storyline continues. It is Caroline Wozniacki. She's doing it again. She's through. She knocks out an American in Jen Brady, and she says here, I'm in the 4th round. I don't know where Maria Sharapova is. I saw her in Arthur Ashe the first day. Wonder if she is still here. You know, she really likes this court. I hope she returns to tennis just like I did. We miss her too. Do you think we're going to get Maria coming back as well?
It would have been the craziest thing because she's 36 years old. I always thought she was a lot older, but I'd looked before this tweet and she's only 36. So if Wozniacki can do it, why can't Sharapova? And I think if she was to return, she would still do some good things on court.
Solid player.
And it's insane, really. Wozniacki coming back, playing well, winning matches. I think next, is it Coco Gauff?
Yes, it is Coco Gauff. You are right. And somebody that we definitely need to speak about, Coco Gauff. The person who, if she ever decides to give up tennis, now she can have another job of an announcer at the US Open. She likes announcing Novak Djokovic coming on after her match. She played exceptionally well. I love watching Coco fight against the odds in these matches.
Yeah, was you not worried she dropped another set?
No, because I watched the set and I know that you're a very negative Mertens player, and as am I. I thought she played exceptionally well in the first set. I've never seen Mertens hit the ball so hard. She was hitting clean winners, and Coco was like, what? Where's this Mertens come from? When Coco dug in the second set, she really, really started hitting the ball well. Her backhand on the run, probably one of the best on the women's tour that I've seen. And as soon as she does it, it fires the crowd up, and then she's there, she turns. And then the last set, a bagel. I mean, you see, she gets stronger and stronger as the match goes on. Love to see that. And look at that. She followed the energy up by announcing Novak Djokovic there coming onto the court. It's brilliant. What a story.
They seem to really like each other as well. Both been speaking about each other in the media recently. And I'm really happy for Coco that she was able to get through. Mertens crumbled like she usually does when it
Yeah.
matters. But like you said, good first set from her, so I don't think she'll be too displeased with her US Open. And now Coco Gauff, you've got to start looking at her. If she gets through Wozniacki, she'll be favourite for that. Is she now a top 3 contender? I think she may be. I think she's making a name for herself too. Obviously, we've got Iga Saba. Is she the third one in there? I would put her very even with Mukova at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put her above Mukova. She's already beaten Mukova in the final of Cincinnati in straight sets. She's got the crowd on her side. She's proven she can lose a set and still come back and win, which is a great quality that she's not really shown too much of in the past. So I'm loving everything I'm seeing. I'm going to try not to jinx it too much, so because I just want her to get as deep as possible in the tournament. I'm hoping she can, unfortunately for Wozniacki, end her fairy tale run, and that we get her into the quarterfinals, because we've got a big matchup which could be coming up. Obviously, Iga, we can touch on her match. It was one of the easiest matches, I think you'll agree, I've ever seen at a Grand Slam.
Yeah, we covered the live watch long. We don't need to analyse it at all.
No.
But Game to Love put a tweet out saying Iga with another breadstick and bagel in what was one of the easiest matches I've ever seen at a Grand Slam. I guess at least Juvan can laugh about it. And if you go down, you can see the New York bagel with Iga's face on it. It says 5 bagels there. We've not quite hit 5 bagels. But is that a sign?
Ooh.
Is that a sign that we're going to get 5 Iga bagels? I'm not sure what number we're on so far. I think it's only the 2. So it means we've got another 3 to go, which is probably quite accurate.
It could well happen.
On for the final. Definitely.
Well, will she be able to get one in her next matchup? And I know that we've been speaking about Rybakina. We'll come on to Rybakina in a second, because obviously your girl, Cirstea, did knock her out. Ostapenko knocked out Pella. She had to come back. I mean, Ostapenko just all over the place on the court. I don't know what to expect when I watch her play.
No, well, no one does. She doesn't. I feel she turns up and she's not sure what's going to turn up herself.
No, it's crazy. It's literally like I can understand why loads of people flock to the court to see it, because you never know what you're going to get on the court. She has outbursts. She was shouting at a guy in the stands, "Get out!" and she refused to play until he was out, and everybody like cheered as this guy. She was literally shouting at him, "Get out!" and he had to leave. Then she was serving at one point and a baby started crying in the crowd. She double faults twice in a row whilst the baby's crying, looks at the crowd like, what the hell's going on with this baby? I don't know what she wanted to do, like hit a ball in the crowd, no idea. So she went on and got broken in that game. But then she comes back from a set down and wins, and quite easily in the last set. So
I thought she was going to go out, actually. So she did well to sort of pull through and get through it.
Her best run now at the US Open, into a 4th round for the first ever time.
Yeah, and playing someone she loves to play, because the head-to-head between Iga and Ostapenko is free love for Ostapenko. She's never lost to Iga. I don't think there's any player on tour really who's never lost to Iga.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the same now? Is it the same level of Iga? I'm not so sure. I think you've still got to really favour Iga to get through it, but it definitely adds that extra exciting element. We was hoping maybe for Vesely Djokovic in the next round. That's not happened because Borna Gojo ruined it and played so well. With this one, is it going to be one of them matchups where she just simply can't beat Ostapenko? We'll wait and see. But I'm very excited to cover it on the channel, because it's one of the few Iga matches I think we can cover, probably the only one really, in which there's a bit of uncertainty around whether she's going to win or lose. I guess the other one would have been Rybakina. And thinking about it, is she happy now Rybakina's out? Like, I think that is going to be a really big relief, because she doesn't do well against Rybakina either.
Well, speaking of Rybakina, we went through Ostapenko, and the furthest she had got is a 3rd round up until yesterday. Now she's into a 4th. Rybakina, her worst slam. She's never been past the 3rd round, as you can see on this stat, and below 60% of wins. What happens to Elena?
Week at the US Open, struggles, only 50% win record there. I don't know what it is. It's sort of coming to the end of the year. Maybe she's not as good. it seems like Wimbledon is where she peaks, and then after that, nowhere near as good. But she's
Slower
young.
court.
I think no, I don't think so. I think she's young. I think she's learning her trade a little bit. She's only just started doing great in Grand Slams. Give her till next year. I reckon she'll get to the second week of the US Open.
Yeah, I feel that she has come into this tournament carrying small knocks and bumps and stuff like that. So you have to take that into consideration. But it is, I don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much, but we did both have Rybakina going out earlier and people did criticise us for it. So we've seen that it has actually happened now. So hopefully there's a few people in there that were giving us a bit of stick that want to give us a compliment.
Yeah, and also on that, shout out to all of the people who were slagging me off. Actually, don't shout them out. Just I want you. I'm going to give you a moment on here because you've been attacking me about putting Ben Shelton in my semi-final.
Oh.
Ben Shelton is still in the draw, and he's got a shot of the semi-finals, and he hit a serve 147 mile an hour the other day.
Yesterday,
so put that one in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, there's nothing that this kid can do now that surprises me. He was playing fantastically well against Karatsev can crack the ball, and it was an entertaining match. But Shelton just finds a way to win. I feel, and he got stronger and stronger. And in big moments where he needed his serve, you saw this. And at the time, I didn't have the sound on because I was watching about 3 at the same time. And I saw his face, and it was almost like the face that you would do when something bad's happened. But I realised, he's doing the smug, like, yeah, I just did that serve type face. And I was like, oh, my word. That was to hold serve on a really long game as well. So absolutely fantastic from Shelton. I don't think it's a bad call. I think that you picked based upon the draw, and I think he has a good chance to make the semi-final.
Well, it's between him and Tommy Paul for me, but Tommy Paul is favourite. That is the next match. It's going to be tight. I can understand why Tommy Paul's favourite. I hope Shelton can get through, but it's going to be so tough, and he might have to do it in 4 or 5 sets.
Do you reckon, I'm just going to throw a little thing in. You know that little kid that's been turning up to all of Tommy Paul's matches? Do you reckon Ben Shelton's going to kidnap him, tie him up somewhere, not having him at this match? I'm not having him influence this match.
No comment.
No. Shelton family have him under lockdown.
I'm not allowed to comment on that.
That's it. He's involved in it. It's a scandal. Anyway, moving on to the next one. This one's obviously talking about the top half of the women's draw. And, well, it's looking pretty tasty.
Let's start with Cirstea, Ben, because we've skimmed past her.
Yeah,
she is the girl who's beaten Rybakina, and she is my player to watch. And
here's this one then. Take us through this.
Yeah, let's do this one first. And these are the players Cirstea's beaten in this year, not just of all time, this year on a US hard court. So it's Sabalenka, Rybakina, Mukova, Garcia twice, Vondrausova, and Madison Keys. I mean, the list is really good.
Outrageous.
All you need to really do is add Coco Gauff and Iga to it, and you've got a full suite.
That's it. Definitely. You've got a full house or whatever. That list is incredible. I mean, to be able to beat even half of them is good. I think Garcia, she's there for the taking right now, but all the others definitely are not, because they're all players in good form, especially the likes of Mukova and Vondrousova at the moment.
Yeah, I think the Vondrousova one's the most impressive, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like her chances. She's got Bencic next. She's 2.5 with the bookies. I think that's worth some good value there for Cirstea.
Bencic, such a strange player. Don't know what. She's another one. She could lose that one 6-1, 6-1, in my opinion. Or she'll just win in 3, like with some crazy level. I never know what to expect from her either.
All I'm saying is long may it continue. She's giving me points to beat Ben with my surprise packages.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I've got Ben Shelton as mine, so it's sort of like we're both winning while Shelton's winning. Tommy Paul I have in my semi-final, though. In this the top half of the women's draw, it looks pretty tasty on the top 4. The other ones, I mean, it's Cirstea, Mukova would probably be my initial thoughts to go through.
Yeah, well, Mukova, I think, will beat Wang quite easily. That's the one. That's the one match which I don't think will be competitive. All the rest have the ability to go free. I think Iga will put her demons behind her and beat Ostapenko. Gauff, Wozniacki. Part of me thinks Wozniacki could cause an upset, and that's what I'm going to be cheering for, just to ruin yours and Liam's bracket. And then Cirstea, Bencic. I mean, I can't call it, but I think the bookies having Cirstea at an underdog. For me, is good value. I think it's worth putting a tenner on or something.
Definitely, just considering who she's beaten, and then we'll have just a quick look here at this little list of players that could make the semi-final, and this goes on to what you were saying about Ben Shelton not being the craziest pick. I mean, look at those names: TFO, Tommy Paul, Ben Shelton, and Rinky Hijikata. One of those will reach the semi-final. Why doesn't Ben Shelton have a chance?
Yeah, you'd have to say it's probably in order of favourites there. TFO being the favourite, then Paul, then Shelton, then Hijikata. But Shelton can do it. And I think we've seen recently with what Eubanks did at Wimbledon, what TFO did last year. Sometimes when you're not expecting it, it can happen. And Shelton would be the third favourite to get there, but it's still possible. And the way he serves, I would love for him to go on and beat Paul.
I mean,
if he did, could he beat TFO? I know he's good friends with him. I think it's possible as well. So
it's exciting, though, isn't it? I like the fact that it's really starting to hot up now. The fourth round is normally when we start to get to see some of these matchups that we've been waiting for. Some of them don't ever materialise, but definitely we've got a few to put in our pipe and smoke. And
another good thing as well is there's a really good shot of having, of course, an American player reach the semi-final of the US Open. And on the other side, the other little bit of this, you've got, of course, Taylor Fritz, and we've not been speaking about because he's had a really easy draw so far.
Yeah,
he's on a collision course for Novak Djokovic, which I think could be an interesting one. Depending on how well he plays, of course. I mean, Fritz in the past against Djokovic hasn't been great. I mean, he even lost to him when Djokovic was injured and walking around the court. I'll never forget that one. But Fritz, if he's going to beat him, now's the time, I feel, because he's playing really, really well and beating everyone so convincingly. But that's another American. So the Americans are doing quite well at the US Open. We've got a lot of Brits playing today, so maybe we can have one or two go through as well.
Yeah,
mine.
That's it. I mean, Fritz's draw has been kind. Let's be honest, and he managed to destroy Mensik, which Mensik's very young. I doubt he even expected to get through to the third round, and probably just happy to be there. Fritz, though, will he be able to get through his fourth round matchup? He'll be playing Dominic Stricker. Some might say another easy match, but if Stricker's playing his top game, maybe not. So we've got some big matches, like you said, coming up. The Brits in action. Dan Evans against Alcaraz coming up later on today. Jack Draper versus Michael Moe. That one be exciting too. And Katie Boulter taking on Peyton Stearns. So we've got two UK versus US matchups today. Will we come out on top, JG?
Well, I'm looking at the odds. Draper's such a big favourite, 1.36. Evans, though, not a big favourite. He's at 15s. I don't fancy that. Norrie, big favourite against Arnaldi.
Oh, yeah, Norrie as well.
Yeah, so we've actually got a good shot of two Brits going through on the men's. But Evans, I'm afraid to say, I don't give him a chance. A match which I'm really excited for is Wawrinka, Yannick Sinner. Doesn't get much better than that in terms of matchup. Wawrinka, can he do anything? I'm not sure. I really am not, but I would love for him just to take a set. What he's doing is incredible. And then Jarry de Minaur in the evening. This is the big one I've predicted for Jarry to knock out de Minaur.
Well, I think I've got the other
3.5
one.
if you fancy it.
That's pretty good odds as well. 3.5. That's crazy from the bookies.
Well, listen to this. Madison Keys, you get a 1.91 against Samsonova.
That's a really good odds as well. I mean, number 15 in the world versus number 17 in the world doesn't get much closer than that. Both really good hardcourt players, but we are in the US. Take that into consideration if you are putting a little wager on.
Samsonova did beat Rybakina at Montreal, but she did lose to Noskova in Cincinnati, so hard one to weigh up. Katie Boulter, just the underdog, 2.1 against Patricia Stearns. Or Peyton Stearns, is it?
Peyton's turn. Giving her a new name.
Patricia
Why not?
Tig.
Patricia Tig, yeah, is the Tig. Yeah, she's out. Pegula saw her off in the last round. Another one, Pegula is like the Fritz, I feel, but the women's version, just cruising through. Not many people paying attention until she gets to the later rounds. So,
But there we go. That is our day 5 action. Thank you for joining. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Djokovic went 2 sets down, but he won again. We always knew he was going to. And now we need to have all eyes on whether he's going to win the whole thing. Because every time he drops 2 sets, he goes on to win it. Alcaraz in action today. Hopefully he can keep winning. Zverev, he's spoken out about how he's a bit annoyed that everyone's talking about the Alcaraz-Djokovic final. Let's see what he can do. But for me, there's only going to be one winner, and that's Carlos Alcaraz. And of course, Sorana Cirstea. See you tomorrow.
Evans.